When Sandra Williams became Houston's most successful real estate agent, clients trusted her with keys to their most valuable properties. But when her cocaine addiction and money laundering schemes consumed her, she began staging fake murders in luxury homes and killing witnesses who discovered her crimes, turning house showings into deadly crime scenes. Before starting the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Now, let's get back to the video. The Texas humidity hung thick over Houston's upscale River Oaks district as Sandra Williams organized property keys and surveillance equipment for what would become the most dangerous house showing of her 14-year career as the Southwest's most accomplished luxury real estate specialist and property investment advisor. At 42 years old, Sandra had established herself as Houston's premier real estate agent, specializing in multi-million-dollar estates and exclusive property transactions that attracted oil executives, entertainment industry professionals, and international investors who valued her expertise in navigating complex real estate deals and her reputation for providing absolutely discreet property services for their most sensitive real estate acquisitions and sales. Sandra's real estate business operated from an exclusive office in Houston's prestigious Galleria district, featuring luxury property portfolios, international client databases, and private consultation rooms where wealthy buyers could discuss their most valuable real estate investments without concern for market speculation or competitive bidding from rival investors. Her clientele included petroleum industry executives requiring secure property investments, celebrities seeking private residential compounds, and foreign investors whose real estate portfolios demanded expert knowledge of luxury property markets and international investment strategies. The interior of Sandra's real estate office reflected her mastery of luxury property sales and her understanding of wealthy clients' expectations for both investment excellence and absolute confidentiality during their most important real estate transactions, featuring walls displaying real estate awards from prestigious industry organizations, photographs of record-breaking property sales, and testimonials from grateful clients whose real estate investments had generated substantial returns through her market expertise and professional dedication to luxury property services. But beneath Sandra's reputation for real estate excellence lay a dangerous combination of cocaine addiction, systematic money laundering, and calculated murder that had transformed her property showings into criminal enterprises where threatening clients and suspicious investigators met their fate through staged crime scenes and witness elimination during vulnerable property viewings. "Good afternoon, Sandra," said Margaret Thompson, her 2 o'clock client and a 61-year-old pharmaceutical heiress whose luxury estate purchase required Sandra's expertise in navigating complex international property regulations and offshore investment structures. Margaret had recently noticed irregular financial documentation and had begun questioning Sandra's explanations about property investment protocols and international real estate procedures that seemed unnecessarily complicated for routine luxury home purchases. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Thompson," Sandra replied with the real estate authority and property expertise that had made her legendary among Houston's wealthy elite, who viewed her as both investment specialist and market strategist, capable of securing the most exclusive properties while ensuring absolute privacy about their real estate portfolios and investment activities during sensitive property acquisitions. "I've prepared today's exclusive showing of the River Oaks mansion we discussed, and I believe this property represents exactly the type of luxury investment opportunity your portfolio requires for optimal growth and privacy." Margaret had become Sandra's most dangerous client, not because of her demanding property requirements or her investment budget, but because of her recent discovery of suspicious financial structures and her growing awareness of the money laundering operation that Sandra had been conducting while supposedly providing legitimate real estate services to Houston's wealthy property investors. What Margaret didn't know was that Sandra had been systematically laundering money and murdering suspicious clients for over 2 years, using her real estate expertise and access to vacant luxury properties to stage fake crime scenes while eliminating anyone who discovered her criminal financial activities or threatened to report her money laundering operations. Sandra's transformation from successful realtor to calculating killer had begun 4 years earlier, when her cocaine addiction had escalated from social use at Houston's elite networking events to daily dependency that consumed her substantial real estate commissions and forced her into desperate relationships with organized crime figures who controlled Texas's drug distribution networks and money laundering operations. Her addiction had grown to cost over $1,000 per day, while her access to luxury properties and international real estate transactions had provided perfect opportunities for laundering criminal proceeds through complex property investments and offshore real estate structures. Faced with increasing pressure from drug suppliers and potential exposure by suspicious financial institutions, Sandra had been recruited by criminal organizations who recognized her real estate expertise and property access as valuable assets for laundering drug money through luxury real estate transactions, while using vacant properties for staging crime scenes and eliminating potential witnesses to money laundering activities. Her criminal activities had escalated when several clients and financial institutions had discovered evidence of fraudulent real estate transactions and had threatened to report their suspicions to real estate authorities and law enforcement agencies investigating money laundering patterns, targeting luxury property markets and high-value real estate investments. Sandra had murdered her first victim, a suspicious bank investigator who had detected irregular property financing by staging his death as a home invasion robbery during a property showing that appeared to be random criminal activity rather than deliberate murder. The success of her first murder had convinced Sandra that eliminating threatening clients and suspicious investigators was both necessary for protecting her laundering operation and relatively simple to accomplish, given her access to vacant luxury properties and her ability to stage deaths as random crimes that occurred during property showings when victims were isolated and vulnerable in unfamiliar locations. Over the following 2 years, Sandra had murdered 7 additional individuals using various methods that took advantage of her real estate knowledge, her access to vacant properties during private showings, and her ability to stage deaths as home invasions or property-related accidents that occurred during routine real estate activities with clients who had been lured to isolated luxury properties. Her victims had been carefully selected based on their discovery of her criminal activities, their potential cooperation with authorities, or their knowledge of money laundering operations that could expose her international real estate fraud network. Her victims had included Dr. Patricia Williams, a forensic accountant who had discovered evidence of money laundering and whose property consultation had resulted in fatal robbery during staged home invasion at vacant luxury estate; Jennifer Martinez, a client who had reported suspicious real estate transactions and whose property showing had ended in fatal accident from deliberately rigged electrical systems in luxury home; and David Foster, a federal money laundering investigator who had been tracking real estate fraud and whose property inspection had resulted in fatal exposure to concentrated carbon monoxide from modified HVAC systems in vacant mansion. Sandra, I need to discuss some serious concerns about money laundering and reports of financial fraud connected to your real estate services, said Detective Maria Rodriguez of the Houston Police Department's Financial Crimes Division, as she arrived at Sandra's office carrying federal warrants to inspect her property records and interview her about suspicious real estate activities. Detective Rodriguez specialized in investigating real estate fraud and money laundering and had developed expertise in recognizing patterns of property-based financial crimes that exploited luxury real estate markets and wealthy clients' trust in professional real estate agents. Detective Rodriguez's investigation represented an existential threat to Sandra's criminal operation, as her law enforcement expertise and access to financial crime databases could expose the systematic laundering operations and connect her to multiple suspicious deaths during property showings and real estate consultations. Of course, Detective Rodriguez, Sandra replied, though she felt the familiar surge of cocaine-induced paranoia and criminal desperation that accompanied any official scrutiny of her real estate operations by law enforcement officers who possessed the training and resources to detect evidence of money laundering and systematic murder disguised as property crimes or real estate accidents during routine property showings. Client confidentiality and real estate integrity are always my highest priorities, and I want to cooperate with any investigation that might help protect investors, and ensure that real estate services operate according to all applicable financial standards and legal requirements. Detective Rodriguez consulted detailed reports from money laundering investigators and suspicious death analysts that showed patterns of fraudulent real estate transactions and client deaths that suggested systematic criminal activity rather than random property crimes or legitimate real estate accidents during routine luxury property showings. Sandra, I've been investigating reports of money laundering and financial fraud that appear to be connected to real estate transactions handled by your property services, Detective Rodriguez said, with the investigative precision that had made her successful in solving complex financial crime cases. 7 individuals who were clients or associates of your real estate business have died under suspicious circumstances, with several of these deaths occurring after the victims had discovered evidence of fraudulent property transactions or had questioned irregular financial procedures during their real estate investments. The detective's identification of the laundering patterns and her recognition of the timing correlation between discovery of criminal activities and client deaths confirmed Sandra's worst fears that her criminal activities had been analyzed and connected to her systematic elimination of suspicious clients and exploitation of real estate access for organized money laundering and property fraud operations. Sandra's response was swift and deadly as she realized that eliminating Detective Rodriguez was essential for protecting her criminal enterprise and preventing exposure of her systematic money laundering and murder operations. Detective Rodriguez, I think there may be some misunderstanding about the complex nature of luxury real estate and the unfortunate reality that high-value property transactions sometimes attract criminal activity despite proper security measures and safety protocols, Sandra said while discreetly reaching for a modified pepper spray canister that she had filled with concentrated hydrogen sulfide for emergency elimination of law enforcement threats through rapid respiratory failure. Perhaps we could discuss these concerns at one of my exclusive property listings where I can demonstrate the security procedures that might explain these tragic incidents. Luxury real estate involves isolated property viewings that might appear suspicious to those unfamiliar with high-end property sales and international investment protocols. Detective Rodriguez agreed to examine Sandra's property security procedures, not realizing that the realtor was leading her to a vacant luxury mansion where previous murders had been committed and where Sandra planned to kill her using weaponized chemical spray that would cause fatal hydrogen sulfide poisoning while appearing to be accidental exposure to property maintenance chemicals. Sandra's plan involved convincing Detective Rodriguez to inspect specific property security systems while explaining real estate safety protocols, then releasing the weaponized spray in the enclosed mansion space to cause rapid respiratory failure while appearing to be accidental chemical exposure from property maintenance activities rather than deliberate murder by a realtor protecting her money laundering and cocaine trafficking operations. But Sandra's carefully planned murder of the detective was about to be prevented by the unexpected arrival of federal agents who had been investigating international money laundering networks and had identified connections to her real estate business. Special Agent Jennifer Walsh of the FinCEN's Money Laundering Division had been conducting a comprehensive investigation into international money laundering and real estate-based financial crimes that exploited luxury property markets to facilitate drug money processing and eliminate potential witnesses to criminal activities. Agent Walsh specialized in investigating real estate crimes and money laundering and had developed expertise in tracking criminal realtors who were used to launder drug proceeds while conducting systematic elimination of threats to international financial crime networks. The federal investigation had been initiated by reports from multiple international financial institutions and real estate regulators who had noticed patterns of suspicious property transactions and real estate-related deaths that suggested organized criminal networks were using luxury real estate to launder money while eliminating potential witnesses through sophisticated methods disguised as property crimes. Agent Walsh had been conducting surveillance of Sandra's money laundering activities and real estate operations, and had documented evidence of systematic cocaine abuse, involvement in financial fraud, and suspicious patterns of client deaths that suggested her real estate expertise was being used for organized criminal activity rather than legitimate property services. "Sandra Williams, I'm Special Agent Walsh with FinCEN," she announced as she entered the vacant mansion where Sandra was preparing to poison Detective Rodriguez. "I have federal warrants for your arrest on charges of international money laundering, systematic real estate fraud, conspiracy to commit murder, and multiple counts of first-degree murder related to your systematic exploitation of real estate services for criminal financial activities and drug-related elimination operations." Sandra's reaction to the federal agent's intervention was a combination of real estate authority confusion and desperate attempts to maintain her professional credibility, as she realized that law enforcement agencies at multiple levels had been investigating her money laundering activities and had connected them to systematic client murders and organized financial crimes. Her carefully maintained reputation as a successful realtor had failed to protect her from comprehensive investigation by agencies with expertise in international money laundering and real estate fraud. Special Agent Walsh, there must be some serious misunderstanding about legitimate real estate transactions and the complex financial protocols involved in luxury property sales that require international investment structures and advanced financial planning, Sandra said frantically while abandoning her plan to poison Detective Rodriguez and attempting to preserve some semblance of real estate professionalism despite the overwhelming evidence against her criminal activities. "I am a licensed real estate professional with 14 years of experience providing luxury property services for Houston's most successful investors and international clients. All of my real estate transactions comply with established financial standards and property regulations designed to ensure investor protection and market integrity." Detective Rodriguez looked absolutely shocked as she realized how close she had come to being murdered by the realtor she had been investigating for money laundering. Her financial crimes investigation had not only exposed Sandra's laundering and murder operation, but it also prevented her own death at the hands of a killer who had been using real estate services as cover for systematic elimination of clients and law enforcement threats. The comprehensive investigation that followed Sandra's arrest revealed the full scope of her criminal enterprise and the sophisticated methods she had developed to exploit real estate expertise for systematic money laundering and murder. Forensic analysis of Sandra's real estate operations revealed extensive evidence of her laundering activities, including sophisticated offshore property investment structures, international networks for processing drug money through luxury real estate, and detailed records showing coordination between financial fraud and client elimination schedules. Her properties contained weaponized security equipment, cocaine trafficking documentation, and comprehensive files containing property records that had been falsified to conceal international money laundering operations. The investigation also uncovered Sandra's connections to international organized crime figures who had been coordinating money laundering and drug trafficking operations while using her real estate expertise to process criminal proceeds and eliminate potential witnesses through sophisticated methods disguised as property crimes. Most disturbing was the discovery of Sandra's detailed knowledge of property security systems and chemical hazards, which she had used to develop increasingly sophisticated methods for staging crime scenes while eliminating clients who discovered her laundering operations or threatened to expose her criminal activities to financial authorities. Sandra Williams was ultimately convicted of 8 counts of first-degree murder, systematic money laundering, international real estate fraud, conspiracy to commit organized criminal enterprise activities, and numerous other charges related to her exploitation of real estate services for criminal financial activities and drug-related elimination operations. The conviction sent unprecedented shockwaves throughout Houston's real estate community, prompting immediate reforms in real estate licensing, financial transaction monitoring, and cocaine addiction prevention measures designed to protect clients from exploitation by trusted real estate professionals involved in organized criminal activities. Several other realtors and property professionals were investigated for similar criminal activities, resulting in enhanced oversight of real estate operations, and new requirements for financial verification, property security, and client protection measures that made it more difficult for criminals to exploit real estate services for systematic money laundering and murder. Detective Rodriguez and Special Agent Walsh received recognition for their collaborative investigation and became specialists in real estate crime investigation, developing new techniques for identifying money laundering operations and protecting property clients from exploitation by criminal real estate professionals. Margaret Thompson and other surviving clients required extensive financial auditing and property transaction verification to overcome the trauma of learning that their trusted realtor had been systematically laundering money and murdering clients while exploiting her real estate access for organized criminal activities. The real estate industry implemented comprehensive new safety protocols designed to protect clients from exploitation by unethical real estate providers. The case prompted comprehensive changes in real estate industry regulation, including mandatory background checks and drug testing for all licensed realtors, enhanced oversight of financial transactions and property security procedures, real-time monitoring of property showings and client interactions, and new reporting procedures for suspicious real estate activities involving client safety or potential money laundering indicators. Sandra's conviction also led to increased cooperation between real estate industry organizations and law enforcement agencies, investigating organized crime with new protocols designed to identify real estate services that might be exploiting their property access for systematic criminal activities while eliminating potential witnesses. The real estate and broader property industries implemented revolutionary new safety measures, including enhanced screening procedures for real estate professionals, comprehensive client protection programs, mandatory reporting of suspicious property activities, and improved training for recognizing signs of cocaine addiction and organized crime involvement among realtors. 5 years after Sandra's conviction and life imprisonment, Houston's real estate community continued to implement safeguards designed to protect clients from realtors who might abuse their positions of trust and property access for criminal purposes. The realtor who had promised to help clients find their dream homes and secure profitable investments had instead used her real estate expertise and property access to commit systematic money laundering and murder while exploiting clients' vulnerability and trust during their most important property transactions. However, her crimes had been thoroughly exposed, and her victims had found justice through the dedication of investigators who refused to accept property-related deaths as mere random crimes. Sandra Williams's final showing had been permanently closed by the Comprehensive Inspection of Justice, where she would serve multiple life sentences without possibility of parole, proving that even real estate professionals who attempted to exploit their property expertise for criminal gain could be identified, investigated, and brought to justice when dedicated law enforcement agencies worked together to protect innocent clients from predatory realtors. The realtor's final showing had ended with her permanent eviction from the industry, serving as a lasting reminder that those entrusted with property transactions must never abuse that sacred responsibility, and that real estate professionals who would exploit client vulnerability and property access for criminal gain will ultimately face the full consequences of their betrayal of real estate integrity and financial trust. Thank you very much for listening. Please let us know what you think of this story in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any other videos.